A Year with the Red Sox, 8-part docuseries. It's on Netflix right now, and we're pleased to be joined by the director, multi-time Emmy-winning filmmaker Greg Whiteley. His credits include acclaimed docuseries such as Cheer, America's Sweetheart, Last Chance U. Greg, congratulations on the film. I've seen the 2 episodes. Welcome to MLB Central. How did you land on the Red Sox, and how did you how did they agree to let you get so much access?
Well, I think the Red Sox landed on us. We met with a handful of Major League Baseball teams. We were approached by MLB about 4 years ago about doing a show. I was skeptical because of the access that we need to do the kinds of programming that we like to do and the editorial control that we insist on. But MLB insisted that that was possible, and they said, we've got a handful of teams that we think you'd be interested in, and I think they'd be interested in you. And we met with them, and the Red Sox, by far, at least at that stage a few years ago, they were the most ready to do the kind of show we needed to do.
So we were talking before we came on. I was asking you this exact question. How do you come up with who you're going to follow? Do you go in with kind of knowing some information on the guys, or is it, hey, let's meet at the truck, and then we decide who the most interesting personalities are going to be?
Well, there's no truck. We show up in a minivan that we've rented, and we're a pretty small unit. But yes, we try and you know, because these people are famous, you come with some idea of, oh, wouldn't it be great if so-and-so were interested or so-and-so were interested. But and the reason why I put it that way is I feel like the players that we end up focusing on choose us as much as we choose them. And it's not always the most famous player on the team. There's just somebody, as we're hanging out with them, especially that first week, there's just someone that is a little more interested, and we can feel that they're sort of ready to tell their story. And we have to narrow it pretty soon. Like, we can't make a show about 40 different players. Then it ends up being only about an inch deep in terms of how deep you go in developing their story. We'd rather choose 2 or 3 people and go a mile deep than 40 people and go 2 inches deep.
To that end, among the players that is heavily profiled in this docuseries is outfielder Jarren Duran. And pretty early on, you can tell that he is someone that is very thoughtful about not only his performance, but how it affects his mental health. Mental health is something that is very important to him. And one of the revelations that has come out as a result, as the lead up to this series being revealed, is that he revealed to you that he contemplated suicide. We have a statement that he released through the Red Sox just today. It reads in part, I urge you to read the entire thing, but just for this segment here. Part of the statement reads, talking about this wasn't easy, but it felt important. I trusted the Netflix crew, and I knew that if I was going to share this, I had to be real about it. When you read that, and when you heard that revelation, what did you think?
I feel like Jarren is one of those people that feels a mandate, given his platform, which he takes very seriously, to share his story authentically. He was somebody that it took a long time for him to warm up to us. He's very reserved. I think he's naturally careful and cautious. I think over time he became persuaded that we were interested in what was true about people. And we spent a lot of time with him. We would go home with him. We would film him working on his Bronco. We would... and we just happened to be on a road trip in which he let us follow him from getting off the bus, getting off the team plane, getting off the bus, following him into his hotel room on a road trip. And that's where that conversation happened. And I remember him as he was speaking, and the conversation started to get more serious. His cadence slowed, and he was measured in his words. And I've since learned that he was feeling a weight in which, hey, if I can be authentic in this moment and real about what has happened to me in terms of my own wrestling with mental health issues, there may be somebody out there that's feeling similarly, and they may not feel as alone as I once felt. And all credit goes to him. There wasn't anything we did as a film crew to produce that moment. That was all Jarren.
And when the camera stopped rolling, did he say anything? Like, should I have said that, or do we keep that in?
He didn't. As we left, I called him the next day. I texted him and just said, how are you feeling? And he said, I feel great. I can't remember the exact wording, but it was essentially no regrets. And the reason why was the reason I just told you.
And to that end, I'm struck by the few episodes that I've seen that there's a window into just how emotionally and mentally grinding the season is. I was telling Dero about this episode. These guys are grinding, and it's only the first week. I found it very interesting.
You always say, like, it's what we do. It's not who we are. But for those 7 months, it's who you are.
I think the game is so hard.
Yeah.
It's so long. It requires an unrelenting amount of focus and energy to do it well that I think it can take a toll. Mark, you and I were talking off camera. I was describing my experience because I didn't know anything when we began filming about a professional baseball player's life. You were describing, even since you've played, which wasn't that long ago, you feel like the game has become even more hyper-focused. It requires even more mentally of players.
No doubt. The analytics, the phones now. I mean, half the time, people didn't know where we were, what we were doing. Now they are under a microscope every second.
Yeah.
I told you that one of the reasons that I like Formula One is because of the Netflix series. And I think that this series can do some of that for maybe fans that are on the fence, casual fans, or maybe even people that aren't fans of baseball. I just really think it's that important. What do you make of that particular statement?
Well, I think if you've ever sat in the stands next to the families of the players and you feel their enthusiasm, you feel their investment, particularly when their husband or their father or their cousin or their best friend is at bat or is pitching, you feel a level of tension and investment on their part that you may not necessarily share. I think in a small way, when given the access that we were graciously given going through this 8-part series, you're going to start to feel that same way about a handful of these players.
Did you sign the wall?
No, do I get to, is it here? Or do I?
No, Fenway Park. You didn't go into Monster and sign it?
I wouldn't dare. I wouldn't dare. I'm not.
That was a missed op.
Gal, one day when I get called up to the big,
Greg,
I will sign it.
Greg, I think I signed the wall.
Exactly.
I'm not sure.
Well, now I feel terrible.
Yeah, now I feel terrible too. Greg, congratulations. The episodes are really, really good. Congratulations to you and your entire team. Can't wait to see the rest of it. It is The Clubhouse, A Year with the Red Sox. It's streaming now on Netflix. The director, Greg Whiteley, joining us here on MLB Central.
Awesome
Great stuff.
stuff.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
It is the Yankees and Tigers this afternoon. You can watch it right here on the network. And Aaron Judge is off to an explosive start. Again, leading the American League in homers, RBIs, and runs scored. We're all aware of Aaron Judge. He plays for the Yankees. He's a big star. I know this. But I think Shohei Ohtani and the Dodgers and other factors have somewhat obscured what is truly an all-time great run that is somewhat unappreciated. Let's do a little digging in. I want to bring your focus to one number, OPS plus, on-base plus slugging, adjusted for the ballpark and adjusted to the run-scoring environment. You can compare 1908 to 1956 or 2005. It's also adjusted to league average being 100, so it's similar to weighted runs created plus. I throw that around a lot. It gets there in a different way, but the resulting number is very similar. So a 120 OPS plus is a good hitting season. A 160 or so is an MVP candidate. So a 200 OPS plus is an absurdly high number. Let's go through some of the great hitters of the recent generation and look at their numbers. Bryce Harper, his MVP season 2015, a 198. Mike Trout's best year, 2018, this is his highest number, a 198. Jim Thome, Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, these are their best seasons. Excellent years, big numbers, not quite 200. I'll throw in Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Frank Robinson, never had a 200. Stan Musial's best season, 1948, led the league in everything, had an even 200. Joe DiMaggio, Joe D, 1941, shy of a 200. 200 is a big, big number. So here's Aaron Judge the last 4 years. He went next level in 2022. Look at the far right. That's a 210. 210. You see the slash line that you need to get there. 425, 686 to get to a 210. Last year was historic. 225, he slugged 701, and this year off to a monstrous start. He is very close, like you see, it's a 175 in 2023. I'm going to get to that. He's very close to shooting for 4 straight seasons at a 200. Think about that. So 2023, Judge finished at a 175 only because he ran into that fence at Dodger Stadium and tore a ligament in his toe. June 3rd, he was near 200. He was slugging 674 before he got hurt. He came back hobbled. He did his best. He slugged just over 550. He was helping his club, but he was not the same. You can see it. Do you remember that? If he doesn't get hurt, making a great catch, we could be talking about 4 straight years at a 200 OPS plus. So here's the most years over 200 in OPS plus. And I'm just going to say, because that's the usual suspects, right? Ruth, Williams, Bonds, Hornsby. Everyone here is from the 20s or 30s or juiced. I'm sorry. What you're left with is Mickey Mantle from the 50s and Aaron Judge. I'm not cooking the books. I'm adding context. But I'm going to saute the books a little bit here. We want apples to apples. And when you go through the all-time leaders, you get a lot of seasons pre-integration when the league wasn't as mature as well, and you get a lot of the steroid guys. And I'm sorry, those numbers are skewed. It's only a couple of seasons. You also get a few seasons where the players who were great, had great seasons, also missed a lot of games. So if you eliminate all that, post-integration, no steroids as best as we can figure, and needing 600 plate appearances, here is what you get. And it brings you this. Judge's current run, I believe, into better focus. It's Judge last year, #1, up on top, the best in modern baseball, non-steroids full season. Then Mickey Mantle in 57 and 56, and Aaron Judge again. Think about that. And then Willie McCovey, which is an all-time great season, 1969. I almost wanted to keep it to just a top 5, just so you could see the greatest of all time. But then I wanted to throw in, hey, if I made a top 10, we would add another Mantle year. Then you get Barry Bonds. That's skinny Barry, right? 2 Barry Bonds years when he was with the Pirates and then once with the Giants. Skinny Barry. I'm counting those. And Norm Cash, 1961. This is apples to apples. And I hope we can better appreciate the historic work that we're seeing right now from Aaron Judge. Let me know what you think on X. Is Aaron Judge the best hitter of this century? That's the aughts, the teens, and the 20s. Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera, Joey Votto, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. Let us know what you think. We'll have your submissions a little later on here on MLB Now.